everybody, welcome back to another video. This looks probably a bit different from my normal videos because, well, I would call it a video slash podcast because
we're gonna be doing some.
You can talk, so just...
No, we're gonna be doing some.
What?
A wee podcast. Not
Oh
now.
my God's sake. Why do you have to come on with this?
Do you want me to make noise?
What is you?
We're doing a very serious video.
About what?
I can't read your name.
What?
She needs views.
Did you get me mic off?
No,
It's not.
Was there some what the answers?
What do you mean, what am
I said
I?
be back.
I'm going to watch on, you know.
Why?
Thank God.
Why? Why?
Why are you saying why? Why is she saying
Why are you
what?
going down to Mark's room? What?
You're next week talking about your heart attack.
No, you're not.
Happy family.
And then I'll go on and talk about heartbreak.
Maybe you just talk about stress and mental health.
Mommy's gonna cry, so
No, I'm not.
Are you going to
We'll
cry?
make a laugh about it.
no, but maybe you should cry. Get the views.
No.
Mommy, you're like sitting like this here. You need to look excited, happy. No, you can look
That's how
relaxed.
you sit when you're in a
No,
studio.
you
I
can
should
look-
sit back a wee bit.
Just look relaxed.
I am relaxed. So like we could be needing ideas, Leah, for the wee podcast. We're going to just try and give it a wee go, aren't we? So
So
if
it's
anybody's
like
any ideas
We
or
podcast, we go, we
any ideas or want to
Any
talk
wee
about
ideas?
anything,
I did
Okay,
asking on Instagram, but I don't think anyone got back to me. So that's great. They really all want to see. Oh, I got one question. Right, so the
one
days.
question for this video.
Shut I. So it's going to be a video, and if we do, when we are doing podcasts in the future, I don't know. I like to see podcasts visually. Have you ever watched one?
I just think a podcast is not
Well,
visual.
podcasts aren't visual. They're supposed to be on like apps, like what apps?
I don't know.
You're all You don't even know what I'm talking about. So they're supposed to be on apps and stuff. Like
You don't have to be an expert at something when you're
No.
doing a podcast. No.
no, you don't have.
Like I would know a lot of just common sense things, but
I don't know how far I will get with this. I might just do this and then I'll be like, I can never do this again. Because they're so annoying. So the day is International Women's Day. So I was thinking of different ideas that I could do for this and sort of intertwine it in this video. And what was I saying?
what? So she wrote me in to give my wee story.
You're making it sound like God.
I know.
So don't
Well,
look at it.
It's not
So-
that I don't want to. I'm not secretive, but it's just like people. Could be boring to people. Could help. I don't know.
I don't think it'll be boring to people, Mom. I don't put yourself down in that way.
No,
so
not.
my mommy, when was it?
It was 2 years ago. Coming up now, the 15th of March.
Oh,
I was
so
diagnosis.
2 years ago, my mommy, I don't know why I'm laughing, because it's not funny, but I just don't know what. Oh, how do we even say?
I found a lump.
No, mommy, you're starting too soon. Like we haven't even said what's happened. So
And it was just I had like a wee shock diagnosis.
we need to say that you have cancer first.
A wee shock diagnosis of breast cancer.
No, mommy, that's so formal. I'm not saying it like that. So, 2 years ago, my mommy was diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer, and we just thought we'd come on, talk a wee bit about it. She can share her story. So if these are triggered by anything like this, or maybe it'll upset you, maybe just don't watch the video. But I have to say that in case people like really are affected by the word. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, but we're going to keep it positive, uplifting.
Yes.
Positive vibes are going to go about. This mic is not real. Mommy, well, we can tell. We obviously know it's not real because the audio
is real?
isn't. Well, no, it's a real mic, but it's not connected.
So why are you got it up then?
Because this is what people do in podcasts.
Like we're not doing a podcast.
It's video slash podcast.
Like a video talking.
No, mommy. No, it's just there, but as if it's catching both of us, but it's not real. So the floor is.
I'm not the when I tell a story. Look, just I found a lump, and I wouldn't have been someone that would have checked or examined for lumps or anything like that. I didn't really think that it would ever have happened to me, but I would be obsessed with shaving, shower every day, shave under my arms. So it was like 2 years ago we went for a wee, it was mid-term break, wasn't it?
It was,
mid-term break, and we went to a wee hotel.
What do you call the hotel?
It doesn't really matter what we call it.
Keys?
You're not allowed to give names of things.
Why?
Just, you don't have to say names, that's not, that's irrelevant. So we went for the weekend, and that was grand, and on the Sunday we were leaving. So I was on the shower and I was shaving. I shave every day. I have a wee bit of OCD.
A big bit.
Shaving every day. I shave every day. So I was shaving under my arm, and I found, I sort of seen like a wee lump, and I felt it, and I felt like a wee hard lump. And
where you have to say under your armpit?
on my armpit. And I was at the start, I just was all, oh, it must be just like a wee ingrown hair or a wee cyst or something. Never thought nothing of it, but I had sis. My sisters was up there with me, and I had sis the lemons, and my other sister had said, sometimes I would get them, and it's just like a wee pulled hair or something like that, or a wee cyst. So I sort of didn't think nothing of it, because I wouldn't be one that would even go to doctors or worry about things. So as I say, I didn't think it was anything sinister, but it still was in my head. So that Monday then I went down to work, and I'd said to my aunt about it, and I was thinking, and she was all, you better make an appointment. But usually I wouldn't make an appointment, I wouldn't rush to a doctor's or anything. But there was just something that day, I was going, well, I'll just phone and say about it. So I phoned, and he had said to me about, maybe there was no appointment for that day, but he says I could try and get you an appointment, or I could give you an antibiotic in case it has some type of wee infection or something. So then I got an appointment for the Tuesday. I went down, and the wee doctor had took my bloods and checked it. She says it did look like a lymph node. Took my bloods.
Well, what's a lymph node for anyone who doesn't know?
I don't really know. Lymph nodes, they're all over your body. And that's
everyone
what shows
has
up
lymph
if
nodes.
that sort of rises up if you have an infection anywhere, or
Also, was she
that's
saying
a trigger.
Was she saying it's just a lymph node, like it's not?
No, she did seem a wee bit concerned. She says it does feel like a definite like a definite node. She said, we'll do your bloods now, and we'll see. We'll take it from there, because things would usually show up in your bloods. So I got my bloods done there and then that day, and went home. And 5 o'clock, was it 5 o'clock or just after 5 on that same day, I got a phone call from the doctor again, and she just said that some of the bloods come back, sort of, they didn't get a great reading, and some were normal. And she says she just wanted me to come back down the next day to do a full breast examination, and just to give me another check, an overall check. So went down the next day, and she did that, and then she said that she'd feel better just referring me to the breast clinic. So she says it would be red flagged, so would get word within 2 weeks. So that was grand. Still didn't think anything of it.
And she really didn't.
No, I really didn't.
Everyone was like, you have to prepare for the worst, and she was like, no, it's
No,
grand.
I says, no, I know it's just a cyst, I know it's grand. So went to the breast clinic then that day, and I was there for hours that morning, and they done all different tests. He wanted to speak to the doctor first, and he sort of looked at it, and he wasn't concerned. He thought it was just some type of skin tag or cyst, and he says he would do, so I was sent for like mammogram.
Oh.
And then you go back out, you get out for all these different tests. So got the mammogram, I went back out and sat, and then I was called in for an ultrasound. And in the ultrasound, there's some type of shadow was showing. So they wanted to do biopsies, so sent out again.
But the first one was clear, wasn't it? The mammogram?
No, this is on the same day I got the mammogram. Went down and got a fluid biopsy, which they can read there and then. And then they done a core biopsy, so that was actually very sore getting that done, but it was
Well,
grand, it was bearable.
Talk about how that was. Did they have to, what did they have to do?
They had the fluid one, it's just like they showed me before they done it, it was like a long thin needle that has to go right in, they take out fluid for them to test. So they did that, and then the core biopsy is like a thicker needle that when it goes in, it's like a plunger, and nearly it contracts like a piece of the
Skin.
actual lump away. But that has to be sent away to get tested. So they did that, and then I was sent back out to sit, and then they wanted to do a 3D mammogram because they weren't sure. The fluid one didn't really show anything, so they sent me back in and I got a 3D mammogram. And then you go back out again and sit, and you wait then to go in to see the doctor. So when I went back in, they had just said, the doctor said, look, we've done this, the fluid nothing really showed up in the fluid, the mammogram, nothing showed up. But he says, we're going to just send the core biopsy away now to see. I don't think it'll be anything to worry about. I'm not concerned, but we'll get back to you. I think, well, I can't remember if it was a week or 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Can't
I think it
remember.
was 2.
I think it might have been a week, you know.
Oh.
A week or whatever. So he says, and we'll contact you either way. So that was grand. So I would have been expecting a call the following Thursday, I think it was. And I hadn't got one all that day, so I was thinking, oh, that's grand. But when I was in work that evening, I got the phone call, and it was I didn't know it was the breast care nurse at this time. It was just a girl asking, she says, Jennifer, your results and all straight, just to talk, you were making the appointment tomorrow to talk you through your results. Still never thought nothing of it. She says, you know, you are allowed to bring people with you if you want, and I was all right, okay. So I says to my aunt, and she said, right, well, I'll be going over me. But knowing now, she said, hearing that, she was a wee bit worried, because she thought usually when they ask, that was Magella. So I
think you done, like, because I remember I was in school, or you collected me or something from school, and you were like, I just have to go over tomorrow, they say the results, and I was like, they didn't tell you them until you were all,
they don't over the phone.
You're all, no, they don't, and I was like, oh, because then I was like, oh my god, it's
oh no, she said
bad
to me on the
news.
phone, she said, have you any questions? And I went, no, I don't, because it's still at that stage, it's like, no, nothing.
Like, she was so convinced, like, she was like, no, we'll just say it's this, they might need to.
And I actually I was going to go on over on my own, and Magella was saying, no, you're not, I'm going over me. So the next day I had to go over at 11 o'clock, went over and was sitting, waiting to go on, and actually my cousin was over at the same time, because she had found, like, I had a wee lump that she had to get checked out, and I was sitting worried about her. But then, I don't know, she came out and hers was grand. But I just get this, while I was sitting in the waiting room that day, I got a while, like, I think I started crying, because I was like, why am I crying? I don't know if I was crying because I was thinking of my cousin, or did something just, I don't know, come over me. So that was grand. So we were called on then, and we were sitting there, and the doctor, I'll never forget the words when he explained everything they did, all the tests they did, and then at the end he just turned a page and he says, we were shocked, it has breast cancer. Well, them words, that doctor's voice will always play in my head. It was the maddest thing, and I was like, initially I broke down crying, and my aunt was crying, and we were sitting, we just didn't know what to do. But at one stage then I was like, right, what do we do? Do we just get up and go now, right? What happens? So I was taken into a room then, you'd be go out and be taken into another room then with a wee breast care nurse, and she explains the doctor has explained to me what they were going to do. They said that the first protocol would have been surgery to get the lump removed, and just they take time now to take it all in. So that would have been the 15th of March that I had my diagnosis. So he would have been around, like, you were given 2 weeks to sort of just take on everything and read up on things. So the wee breast care nurse just talked me through everything, and I remember that day sitting, just my initial thoughts were, will I be still able to go on holidays in August, and can I still do my Zumba? I was just still, because I have like an OCD mind, everything's routine, and that's all I was thinking, what about all these things I have to do? And she was all, look, you just take each day as it comes, She says, you worry about yourself and look after yourself, she says, and we will look after the medical side of things. Don't you be worrying about that, and just rest now and try and just deal with it and take it all on. So I remember going out into the car. It was just the most shocking thing, and a man, she would even let me drive. I was just crying on the phone and telling, I was phoning my husband and my mummy and all, and everybody was shocked. But and everybody sort of came that day, and it was just a wild thing. It was like, it was the weirdest feeling, because you think it's never going to happen. But then the next day, then I sort of just get up and went up, get ready, and went up the town. It was just like I forgot about it again. And so anyway, I was just getting on every day, and it was just, I mind them first couple of weeks, it was the weirdest out feeling. I was like, I love watching my TV and my soaps and all my programs, but I was watching them, but I wasn't taking anything in. I was literally, couldn't settle. I just literally had to keep doing deep breaths, and that was the first time I've ever experienced anything like that, because I just go and do my normal stuff. But as the days went on, it sort of got a wee bit, it was helping me doing my breathing and all, every time I thought in it, and my prayers and all. And then I got word then I had to go in for surgery on the 2nd of April. So I went in and had a lumpectomy. No, I had to go for procedures up to that, get dye tests and things like that there. And I went in then for the surgery and had the lumpectomy. And a week later, they were to phone me then to see how it went, and I had to go back again to the breast clinic after that happened. And he told me that they didn't get a clearance, which means they take away the lump and they try and get away all the cells around it. And they said they scraped it away, but they didn't get a good clearance, which means they wanted to go back in again. This is a thing, a rare thing that can happen. And when my luck, it happened.
Like, if they didn't feel like they removed enough of it, like, meaning
around
it could have grew back.
Yes.
Or
so they want to do it, like, whatever the lump is, they take an area around it. And they removed 5 lymph nodes as well the first time. So I had to go back in for surgery.
When did we visit you the first time, was it?
The first time I was
out
of it.
You were out of it?
Out of it, that coming out of, I didn't know where I was, didn't I?
No, you kept falling asleep on us. We were like, why you, like, was it sore?
That,
She was like,
that was the anaesthetic.
And we were like, what's going on? Because we've never seen you like that before.
No. And then, so anyway, went over and got word that they didn't get the clearance, and that I had to go back in. That would have been like a week and a half later, back in for
another
more surgery. So it was grand, and like, I don't know, I'm just somebody that, I'm not afraid of pain if it has to be done. Don't get me wrong, I don't like things being sore, but I know I just have to do it, there's no choice. And I remember that day before the first surgery that I had to go for the dye test, and you get into this for the scan. Oh, before that was the MRI. Before my surgery, I had to go for an MRI scan, and that was the scariest thing for me, because I've never had an MRI scan, so that whole claustrophobic thing was one thing. But it was the fear that hit me that time was, that was to find out if it had went anywhere else in your body. And at this stage, because I get the shock of hearing I had it, which I never thought I would have, so I had this fear then. I was going, oh, they're going to tell me I'm riddled with it. They're going to tell me. And that was the longest 20 to 25 minutes of my life that I was lying in that MRI machine, whatever, and it was just so scary, and then waiting for the results. So that when the doctor then had phoned me back a few days later to say that it had not spread, it was there where it was, that was like winning the lotto. It was the biggest relief. So anyway, so I had the first surgery, second surgery, and after the second surgery then they said that they wanted to send away, because, I don't know, because of your receptors, I think they're called. HR2, I can't remember the names of them now. I should have figured that out before I start talking. But anyway, but your receptors, they tested, so they wanted to test this tumour, and it was like a DX testing, I think you call it, and it was sent to America because it's like a rare type. So they tested because their markers here, they do like a scoring sheet, and their scoring sheet here that I was borderline needing chemotherapy. But they wanted to send this away to get tested to make sure if it would be safe enough for me or whatever. So then I had that I went through that whole emotion of what if I do need chemotherapy, and that whole, like a girl's thing is automatically thinking you're lost in your hair and your eyelashes and eyebrows and all, and I love my eyebrows and my hair and all. So but I was going, I still kept talking to myself going, if it has to be that, there's nothing I can do. There's loads of wigs and I can draw, I'm good at drawing eyebrows and all that there. So I was trying to talk myself into, or prepare myself into that, for that. So the testing went, and thank God I got the results back. They actually said that the chemotherapy would do me more harm than good. So it was, they decided I was radiotherapy, and I had to go on like a breast cancer drug then for 10 years. So after I had to recuperate then for about 3 months after the surgery before I started my radiotherapy. And then I went and got my markers done for that and all the scans and all the, and then I started my radiotherapy treatment, and I went there for 4 weeks every day. Bar you got a break at the weekend, they sort of come around for the next week again, and it drained me, and it was like it sort of burnt my skin and all as well. And the last boost, then you get like a booster on your last week, and because my tumour was under my arm, they had a blast right under there, so it has done like a lot of damage. Like I've done my exercises and all after it and had my physio, but I think there's like damage done with the nerve, a lot of nerve ends damaged. My arm, no, I would now, my arm would be, I would have a numbness always. That's like going on to 2 years now, and I think it'll always be there. And there's a weakness in my arm, and my arm would hurt, and there's certain from my arm right going across my chest bone and all, and my shoulder, but that's all part of the after effects of radiotherapy or surgery. And because I had surgery twice, didn't help. But what I'm saying is I just accept this is the way my arm is, and sometimes it does frustrate you. And like I'm somebody that my family, and you all say, Leah, it was like people used to say, are you for real? Like I am a bit weird. I am strange.
You would expect someone to deal with it like differently than you did.
And that's not to say, like there's days, like I remember when going through a stage for the first year maybe, like there was literally, I couldn't even talk, if I went to even talk about this to somebody, I would have been in tears, just overwhelming crying. I couldn't even talk about it. And going for my radiotherapy, I used to drag on. I would have talked about it like a third person. It was as if it wasn't happening to me. And I mind driving over, or my daddy driving me over every day, and just when you would have drove into that the Northwest Cancer Centre, and then just looking at the sign and going, Northwest Cancer, am I really getting in here? It was like I was going through the motions but not taking it on. And there's a part of me to this day feels like nearly, did that actually happen to me? Did I go through this? And it was like I was, there is days you still get days, and I sometimes think, has it even hit me yet? This is going to all come in on me. I'm here the day, and it's great, and you do have always worries because you always hear, you know, people, oh, I'll come back and all that, and you have to accept it. If it did, you just go through the motions again. That's all you can do. It's out of your control. So you just have to like trust in God and just do your best to try and deal with it. And like I went to all the wee therapies after the complementary therapies and the counselling and all, and still do, and that really helped as well. Wouldn't drink, wouldn't be a drinker, and I never smoked. And you just think these things won't happen to you, but you just don't know what's around the corner. So
because you, like, my mummy exercises all the time.
well, I'm not fat, Leah.
But you do Zumba 3 times a week.
I'm not fat. I do Zumba now with one arm, because when I'm doing it I have to just sort of hold myself the whole time, but I just try.
When it did happen, you done Zumba, which people don't, like, people don't exercise like you exercise.
No, when I got my diagnosis too.
She loves talking, by the way. Young Sean.
No, when I got my diagnosis, remember I got diagnosed on a Friday, like I am, there's something wrong with me, and I went and done the parade, it's Magic's parade on Sunday.
How did you feel as a family when you found out? Well, you told us all separately. You don't think you meant to tell us separately, but you run.
That day I sort of went to my mammy's.
I know, and I was here in the house on my own, and she rang me and told me, and I was like, wow. And then I'm just going over to Granny's to get a cup. You were getting a bun or something?
No, I wasn't really getting a bun, it was during like.
Were you not going over to get a cream slice?
Oh,
I really remember that you were like, no, I don't even care. Because you got to eat a bun. Well, anyway, she told me.
Oh, I was eating bread. Like crusty bread.
That's what it was.
Didn't care.
She told me over the phone, and then we just all, right, I need to go now, and I was like, I didn't know what to do. I get cried.
Oh, you were sobbing.
And then, where was Kiara?
She was at school. I know.
Oh,
Sarah took her up, remember them, they work with, because I wanted to keep it from Kiara because she was only what, 12 at the time, and she's wide sensitive, and I was like trying to find out how you would explain this to her without thinking the worst. And so we try to keep that, but you can't really keep much from Kiara because
she knows everything.
She's a sponge, she hears, and she knew there was something going on, but we were trying to keep
she sort of knew the whole week something was going on.
It was for weeks before I told Kiara. Couple of weeks.
No, I mean whenever you were having to go over to the hospital and all.
She sort of knew, but I was just playing that down, think to say, and it was just a wee sister.
Did she not know for weeks?
That was a couple of weeks before.
And what, how did you tell her?
Because I knew she knew anyway. I knew she was picking up and all the people no talking or sensing that she wouldn't miss a bar. So I thought, no, I'm going to have to explain to her in a way that it's, look, this has happened, but it doesn't mean, and I'll try to explain that breast cancer is something that has a good positive, what do you call it? Treatment rate and all that there. And
no, what do you call that? Remission rate?
Not remission. There's good treatments for it. You know, you have to. And like in that breast cancer drug that I have to take for 10 years, that was a big thing for me too, because I wouldn't even. I'm not somebody who would even take a paracetamol, but I would have to have a really sore head or be really sore to even do that. So that was a big deal for me then, knowing I had to take this tablet every day, and actually had to set an alarm on my phone because I wouldn't be used to even taking it every day, and then you side effects from that and all too.
You skipped what did like Kiara? You didn't say.
I did tell Kiara then. I explained it to her in a way that.
And how did she react?
Kiara was actually better than what I thought. She actually was.
How was Daddy?
Oh, Daddy was devastated. Like it nearly killed him. Like he says from the day that I told him I found the lump in the hotel, he says his breathing wasn't good. No, like he didn't, I don't know what I mean. But like his heart doesn't beat the same. What's wrong? Something like that, it affected him anyway, it affected him.
Where was he when you phoned him?
Work. And I was told, don't stay at work, stay at work.
He doesn't stay at work, doesn't he?
I told him that. Because I think at that stage too, he just didn't know how to deal with it. He was dreading even coming home. And
well, I think my granny phoned me and was like, do you want to come over here? And I was like, aye, because my mommy just completely blanked me.
How did I blank you?
You just said, it's cancer, I know. Right, I'm gonna have to go on and get this thing, I'm going on to Granny's now, and I was like,
yeah, I phoned you while I was sitting in Granny's.
But no, I'm nearly sure
I phoned you,
car.
and Katrina would have forgot you.
Was it? No, it was Brenda.
No, it was not Katrina.
No, it was Brenda.
Everybody was on, it was wild that day, wasn't it?
It was just so.
I didn't know how to even tell people. I was like,
it was just obviously it was negative, but it was like, because no one knew what to say really, I think.
And then no one, of course, everybody would just automatically think the worst.
Everyone was like, you'll be grand, but where they were saying it and they actually didn't know, because we didn't know at that stage how bad it was.
And then it's like, you always say, oh, you can never say when you talk about it, you go, oh, when I was sick. She even now to this day, she'll still be like, back when she does it, like she'd be like, back when I was sick. And I'd be like, she can't say the C word. It's to do with, I don't know, I'm mad, I just don't know what it is. I
think everyone was
I nearly feel silly going, oh, when I had cancer, it just still doesn't seem right, it does not seem right that it happened. But what I'm saying is, what?
Are you just going to talk? You know what, I'm going to go get my dinner, you can keep chatting. No, I was just going to say that I think everyone felt the same, because well, we obviously people and that have had it, but it's never, well, obviously been to me so close, so it was like
shock.
It was like, what do you mean? Like, I couldn't understand.
Everybody was shocked.
Go on, stop talking over my mummy. This is why I don't think we can do podcast together, because you were trying to finish my sentence. So whenever when
I
I
felt bad that day.
Shh. Whenever I went over to my granny's, like I was there but annoy her, and then I was going to someone's house then, and I literally like my eye had to leave me up to the house, and like I went on got, well, I didn't go out my day, obviously it was like talking about it, and you went to the house on your own, and I still feel bad to this day that I just left her, but you
No,
did say,
I would rather have that. I would rather have normal, and that's what I'm saying. That's a wee
and then
bit.
I also was like, oh, but daddy will have to come and see, and I don't want to be like,
I didn't want to be there.
and then I also, because my mum is so weird, like if things happen, it's like, no, let's all pretend it's normal. Like she doesn't like to make big deals about things. So when I'm in the house, I stay in my room, so if I was coming over here and sat on the sofa with you, it would have been weird. Like you would have felt not awkward, but like
I remember the nurse explaining to me at the start, going, you'll never be the same person you were, so but you'll find it's a new you, and that is so true. You don't, like, I don't feel the same person that I was, but now I come on, no, each day I just try and get on with accepting things and making the most of who I am now and what I do. And it's like, for a long time I just felt so rare, normal things I didn't want to do. I just didn't feel the same person. I didn't want to go out, I didn't want to do nothing interested me. I'm through a whole period of that. I'm starting to now come round a wee bit, I'm feeling a wee bit normal. And there's still days that it would affect you and you would think about it. But you just have to take each day as it comes, and it's something that's out of your control. Nobody asks for it, nobody brings it on, it happens, and what you have to do is deal with it and don't let it get on top of you. That's what I kept saying to myself, do not let this, because if I was one day lied out, because people were laughing, going, gee, there's no days after the surgery, I couldn't even lift my arm, but I had to struggle to try and put makeup on.
I know.
Or else do it with this hand, because I was not, that's just me.
I had it clean as well.
And she had to clean. That
for
was
months,
so annoying watching them
so,
trying to clean.
Well, my mommy has a certain type of standard, and if you aren't like, if it's not the same, I think I could have done what you done, because you didn't do it. You like couldn't feel like she needs, whenever you're doing a mat, she wants it scored. So I used to have to hoover the mat and then get my big muscles out and start scoring the mat. I had to do that after, but she still had flaws, but I had to do it for months.
And everybody did help, and I know like, even remember, because just wasn't my standards, my sister came over one day to help hoover the mat, and it was like,
Sarah?
no, Katrina.
Katrina.
And her back was sore, and she hoovered it the wrong way. She didn't hoover it
from
the longest length across like that. She hoovered it this way, and I was sitting there going, please don't say nothing, but it's just accept it. And then it was finished. She was sweating, and I was all, oh no, Katrina, please do them lines the other way, them scores.
She's evil.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's the type of things that annoy me. But they all know what I'm like. But just if anybody, you should always just check yourself and never take nothing for granted. And there's something telling me that day that there's something not right here, and which made me go. So never just pass it off or think that you're being silly, or that you're being over conscious, or don't. You go and get it checked. Definitely go, because you could leave it to a stage where it's a lot worse. So I'm glad that I had them feelings. I always say it was like a wee God, somebody was looking after me and made me go and do it, because I'm usually not that person.
How did it affect you physically / mentally? Well, you talked about physically.
Physically, it's insane. Physically I am still affected, but it's like, that's my new arm now. That's my arm. I don't think I can't imagine it being normal again. So
mentally,
look, it does. I did go through a state at the start, and even now, and there's times I'm aware that there's a day that it could all come crashing under me, that I realise, because I nearly not make light of it.
You do,
but it's like,
not.
I treated it like, oh, I was sick and I'm back. I'm better. I was sick and I'm better now, or I'm sick and I'm. I had to go through it. No, like if you rely on a bad flu and you get up, that's really I don't know, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I know, I'm aware of it. I just try and, some people, like, you try and sort of block it out too and get on with your normal day, and then there is times when you just go, dear God, look what happened. And it's the maddest feeling when you go, oh my God, did this really happen?
How does your medication affect you?
Well, the medication is annoying. It's like
You have to take it every day, don't
you
you?
have to take it every day, and there's like loads of side effects. It's a lot of the side effects is nearly
My ears are so red, sorry.
the same as menopausal symptoms, which I'm now going there as well, doubly. So it would have left you sort of tired and lifeless, and every day I just feel like there was a wee bit of change in me. Even doing my Zumba or doing, like I started walking, which I'm finding good, but my energy levels wouldn't be the way they were. You would get through like not as much sweats, but like that overheating. And the biggest part for me with a medication would have been like it sort of slows your metabolism down, so it was harder to sort of lost weight and all. But
And she's on somewhere now.
I'm doing Slumber now, and that sort of helped. It's very slow for me, but I always had a slow kind of weight loss anyway. But I'm doing well, and I see a wee bit of a difference now. And you just have to keep going and doing what you can.
She does. You don't have it. You don't say you don't have it anymore. You have to all clear.
Well, the radiotherapy then killed most of the cells now, and the tablet I'm on now helps sort of to reduce them cells from forming. So you just have to. That sort of says it gives you a. So I can't remember. Is that like a?
I don't know.
It's like a 5% chance of getting it within 9 years. 5 or 10% I have at the minute of not getting it within 9 years.
What?
For the length of time you're on that tablet decreases your chance of getting the tumour growing or getting it, and
By 5%.
I think.
Yeah. There's nothing.
So I hope that wasn't doom and gloom, and
Yeah.
I hope it helped.
I feel like I just sat here. You know.
Well, do you want to talk about? Do you want to ask him?
I've asked you the question.
That was from other people. But
I know I don't have any.
does it
Sort
make
of
you
cover
aware?
everything.
Does it make you aware now and just to look after yourself, and like
Yeah,
Leah
well-
and Cara now will have to. They don't have to wait till they're 50. They go now at 30 or 35
Which I think
for
is
mammograms.
all the way too old.
Oh well. But
Because-
sure, I still now.
Because you were like young to get it. Because people young don't really get breast cancer. Well, they do, but there's a more statistically it's more older women. And you didn't smoke, you didn't drink, you exercised, you weren't overweight, so it was weird. Like, and then what did you actually call your type, Beyonce? Remember, it was a rare one that the doctor was like working with
because of
breast
where it was.
what did you call it? The doctor
Lobular.
was-
Sorry, lobular.
Shut up.
Lobular breast cancer.
But the doctor was working like 10 years or something on with breast cancer patients.
He says he hadn't seen that rare type in 15 years.
Oh, in 15 years, so he was working there for ages, so it was very, very rare.
no, but it
she's
wasn't-
just unique.
It wasn't rare. It was rare. He says where it was not, but it wasn't rare enough for them to do studies on it.
So rude.
Whatever.
You should have said, get me studies now. You should have been like the front facing woman.
But the surgeon was great.
Nah, they still keep in
Did a
touch
good
with
job.
you.
No.
Someone said that they talk about opinions on mental health and dairy, which I think we could do in a separate video.
Podcast.
I can't go. She is dying to do a podcast, and she also told me that if I don't do it with her, she's going to do one on her own. So disagree with me. People can disagree with me if they want, I don't care. But I think now people need to start taking mental health more seriously instead of just the physical coronavirus, because that's obviously affected so
still
many
have to deal
people,
with that,
and you still have to deal with it, but they're neglecting mental health so much. Plus nowhere's open for people to go, and it just isn't good for anyone's health, let alone someone who suffers from mental health. So I think at the minute it's just no one, I don't know how to even word it, but it's just something needs done about it. Something really needs done about it. But yeah, I feel like we dealt with a lot of hard and deep topics today, so we'll leave that one day another day. But do you want to say anything else about the podcast? Not about you, about the podcast.
No, I'm not. I've just sort of got a bit interested, so I would like to people coming on. I know too that Aoife.
Yeah, shout out to Aoife.
Shout out Aoife.
Aoife, you're going to be our next guest on the podcast.
Because it'll be good to find out different
Stories.
topics and hear different stories from people and give advice. I love giving advice. I think I'm good at giving advice.
Well, it might not be the advice you want to hear, so just be aware of that. But
it's always good.
I am, there'll be a lot of ones where it'll be fun. You talk for so long as well.
I know, that's going to annoy me, the sound of my voice. I hate the sound of my voice.
But don't say it I hate the sound of my voice.
I
You don't sound like that. I don't know you wrong.
I hate the sound of my voice.
You don't say hate, you say hit.
You can't say it in normal voice when you're talking to the camera.
You
have to change it, it's like putting on a phone voice.
I know, but it's quite annoying. Like no one else.
But you should.
The only people watching you from there anyway, so.
How do you know? Well, sure you don't know. So you have to accommodate everybody.
I know, but they'll just have to get with it.
No, you'll just have to
change. Well, I won't be changing my accent.
Well,
you can change yours
because I'll not understand.
Okay, go and stop interrupting me. Well, we can't do podcasts if you can do this because I physically won't be able to cope and it'll stress me out.
You stress easy.
So hopefully there'll be a lot and they'll be fun, uplifting. You can send us on any questions. We can talk about people's lives. Not people.
People talk with people about their different anything. So
no, I just mean if I put it up and people question what should I do? My mommy and daughter advice. But I don't know if we'd be good at it.
I would be.
So we'll not even get into it. But so literally anything, just give us a wee message. And if you like this video and want to see more like this, I know it's a bit more serious, comment down below. And comment what you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's you watching it, so we don't want to talk and bore you.
No. I hope I didn't bore you. The sound of my voice is going to bore me.
Hopefully you don't get bored. They wouldn't get bored, Mommy. Don't worry about it. And yes, so hopefully I'll have a video up next week. Hopefully it'll be a bit more I don't know, different. I'm going to try and separate YouTube and if we do podcast separate. I don't know if you want to see visual, because I think people do like seeing the visual, but then I don't want to just throw all this on YouTube and then people are like, that's not what we watch your videos for.
No, I think separate.
So let me know what you think. Should keep them separate, or do we go for mix and match?
Separate.
Right, separate. So yes, hopefully I'll see you next week for another video, and well done, Mommy.
Bye.
Pat the back.
That's my sore shoulder.